Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I'm Siti Analia Bagindali, and today I will be reporting the Philippine peace process. So at the end of this chapter, the student should be able to critically appreciate the contribution made by civil society organizations in peace building in the Philippines, including their impact on governance and democratization. Second is identify the policies of the government and the various agreements reached in the peace negotiations between the government and the various rebel groups. Third is to explain the challenges in securing peace with armed groups in the country. So the Philippine peace process is anchored on the main agenda of finding just and peaceful solution to armed conflicts in the Philippines. So naging parte siya ng national agenda ever since na nag-fall yung authoritarian regime ni Ferdinand Marcos Sr. noong 1986, which is also known as the time na nangyari yung EDSA People Power Revolution, which is dito nag-start yung democratization transition noong administration ng Aquino. So, it created a favorable condition for building national consensus on the need for reforms that will break down the repressive apparatus of the martial law regime and address gaping social inequalities. So, nung naging democracy na yung type of government dito is nabigyan na ng chance yung mga rebel groups na i-voice out nila yung mga concerns nila, since after ng post-Marcos era is dun na nag-increase na din sa time na yun. During the time of Marcos is dumami yung mga rebelde and nag-suffer yung next na naging administration dahil doon. So, kasama doon is mga communist na mga party and mga Moro insurgencies. Yung mga Moros din is may conflict din sila kay Marcos sa time na yun, especially yung nangyari sa Sabah, which is yung Jabida Massacre. So, democratization can be defined as the process of institutionalizing both substantive and procedural aspects of democracy, including appropriate institution and supportive norms. Next. Okay, so peace process, ito yung naging very key development nung time ng administrasyon ng Aquino. So what is peace process? Peace process has been defined as persistent peace initiatives involving efforts, strategies, programs, and activities, formal and informal. So yung peace process, ito yung mga ginawa nilang mga efforts, mga strategy. Example is yung nakipag-usap sila sa mga rebelde, nag-try na mag-form ng mga agreements. So, dito is, itong peace process din is, dito tinitingnan kung ano yung mga kailangan na reform in a non-violent manner with the armed conflicts, political violence, and social arrest dito. So, comprehensive peace requires negative peace and positive peace. So, yung negative peace, the absence of direct violence, this means that the reason why it's negative is because it's not really addressing the main cause of the conflict. So, for example, is gumawa lang sila ng temporary ceasefire agreement, which is it's not a temporary solution since hindi nahanap kung ano yung root cause, which is pwede nila yung ulitin. So, this is why kailangan din yung positive peace. So, after nila ma-stop yung war is they will address kung ano man yung mga reasons kung bakit nag-start yung mga kung ano man yung rebelde nag-start. So, next is peace building. Peace building is a long preventive pre-hostility strategy or measures to remove the internal causes of conflict and strengthen indigenous conflict resolution and post-hostility aspect. So, yung peace building is from the word itself na parang gumagawa siya ng matibay na gusali ng peace to make sure na magiging long-term siya, long-term yung ma-prevent niya, and to make sure na solid yung foundation niya, kung ano man yung strategy na magamit nila. So, next is the Philippine Civil Society Organization. So, malaki yung role ng mga civil society organizations. Ang mga including nito is mga grassroots, mga iba't ibang mga organization na hindi siya formed by the states. Pero, nagiging third party sila na tumutulong para i-mediate yung mga conflicts between the rebel and the state. And also, ginagawa din nila is, naghanap sila ng solution para hindi masyado madama yung mga ibang civilian. So, next is, yun, gumagawa sila ng mga advocacy or mga peace perspective. So, para silang mga watchdog of the states. So, mamaya may example tayo sa alternative policy na ginawa nilang initiative. So, people's organization may be defined as an organization of individuals drawn from grassroots communities. So, a people's organization naman, kasama din to sa civil society ng mga organization. Karamihan dito is mga religious na mga organization. Example is mga churches, yung CBCP, NCCP, key participants to na nakatulong sa mga peaceful agreements tulad sa 1986 ceasefire agreement ng NUCC. So, meron din Joint Peace Committee ang CBCP and NCCP. So, isa pa na form nila is yung Bishop Ulama Forum, which is interfaith dialogue. So, nag-uusap yung mga priest at saka yung mga imam para mas deeper understanding into each other's culture and religion para mas mapatibay yung peace process. So, next is yung mga NGO din, they also play important role sa mga peace undertaking. So, example nito sa yung Metro Manila based na GZOPI, which was put up in 1991 to document, support, and sustain yung mga peace initiative. So, isa pa is yung Initiative for International Dialogue with head offices sa Davao City. Similar function din siya sa mga peace coalition sa Mindanao. So, kasama din dun yung mga local, national, and international na mga project. Another one is the Assisi Development Foundation. Provides managerial support sa Tabang Mindanao, high-powered relief and reconstruction program chaired by former Ambassador Howard D., businessman Fernando Zobel de Ayala, and the publisher Alexandro Prieto Romualdez. So, yung Catholic Relief Services din kasama to na may extensive peace building education at saka mga iba't ibang program din sa Mindanao. So, what are the types of civil society building or peace actions? So, one of this is the peace constituency building, which includes mga advocacy work, campaigns, organizing, yung mga peace education. So, ang ginagawa nila is, pinapromote nila yung mga peace agenda, culture of peace. So, kasama na dito is yung mga ginagawa ng church. So, yung sa conflict reduction efforts naman, ang ginagawa nito is, de-escalate nila yung mga political violence by addressing kung ano man yung mga negative impact ng violence na ginagawa sa mga community. So, next is yung conflict settlement. So, conflict settlement is, ito yung mga activities na ginagawa nila, including yung mga temporary ceasefire. advocating political negotiations. Sinasabi nila kung kinakausap nila yung mga ibang rebel group, kung ano man yung mga pwedeng steps para ma-stop yung conflict. So, next is the peace research and training programs. So, ito yung mga research na ginagawa sa mga impact ng war, paano siya ma-stop, ano yung mga conflict resolution, at saka ano yung mga skills na pwede nilang gawin. So, the next one is the social development work. So, yung social development work is dito na nila ginagawa yung dito na nila ginagawa kung ano man yung mga magandang policy para ma-stop ito. Example is the mga environmental projects, implementation, redistribution of wealth. Tulad yung example is yung agrarian reform. Kasi yung mga ibang na form na mga rebel groups is ang reason is pangkabuhayan. So next is the Tri-People Agenda naman is para to sa mga indigenous communities na para ma-assert nila yung rights nila sa mga ancestral domain nila alongside with the Muslim and Christians kasi sila ngayon yung naging minority. And also, ang example nito is yung mga ibang corporation na kinukuha yung mga land ng mga natives. So, next nito, yung mga ibang group naman is, ang pinopromote nila is yung participation at saka welfare ng Bangsamoro civil society, the youth, and the women. So, next is yung isa pa is yung mga former MNLF communities naman is nag-form sila ng mga peace and development cooperatives para mag-usher ng post-conflict phase of reconstruction, which is yung mga MNLF combatants is na-integrate yung iba sa Armed Forces of the Philippines and yung iba is mga na-integrate sa police. This is part of the terms of the 1996 peace agreement. So yung Christians and Muslim naman, yung as I've mentioned before, nag-form sila yung bishop o ulama. So makagawa sila ng harmony between the two religions para they would have more understanding with each other. So next naman na ginawa pa ng mga community is yung mga war affected communities is nag-take na sila ng sarili nilang initiative para ma-stop yung violence sa kanila. So, ang example ng ginawa nila is yung peace zones. So, ang nangyari kasi, the reason why naisipan nilang gawin to is nung sa Sagada, Mount Province is, nung 1998, may napatay na 2 children by drunken soldiers dun sa town center. Tapos, meron pang namatay na isang pupil dahil sa New People's Army na umatake sa AFP soldiers na malapit doon sa public high school ng town. Dahil dito is tulad dun sa Kanto Manyog is may na-form na peace zone doon with the help of a parish priest dun sa community is sinabi nila sa AFP and NPA na sana is i-respect yung decision nila. So next is itong definition ng peace zone. So, it is defined as the geographic area within which war and any other forms of armed hostility may no longer be waged, where peace-building programs will address roots and manifestations in the conflict in the community. So, yun siya, yung peace zone is yun yung place na dapat walang hostility na mangyari even between the rebel groups and the armed forces. So, yung mga peace zone relies on moral persuasion to impose their declaration and strength of their community. So, tulad ng na-mention ko is moral persuasion yung ginawa nila. Example is nagpatawag sila ng priest para mas ma-convince yung side ng AFP at saka other rebel groups. So, over time, iba-iba yung naging name nila. In other places, tawag is demilitarized zone. Sa iba is Mataguan or zone of life, zone of peace, freedom and neutrality, zone of peace and development, free zone, neutral zone, spaces for peace, sanctuaries of peace. So, yung mga community-based zone na na-form includes precipitating factors such as period or incidents of violence. Catalysts could include yung mga local community leaders, mga NGO, funding agencies, yung mga na-mention, local government, mga local government groups. Isa pa is leadership mechanism. Could be in the form of mga peace council. So, tulad nito is may mga peace councils din dito. And territorial coverage. Meron siyang defined zone, either village, barangay, cluster, families. So, and the activities that they undertake, including mga mitigation of mga violence, tulad ng mga ceasefire, pull out of armed personnel, ban firing, and etc. So, from the late 1980s to early 1990s is more than 10 communities na yung nag-declare ng peace zone which no armed group, state or non-state may enter. So, yung mga early peace zone range from yun, mga sitio, mga barangay, town, or city. So, example is yung sa citywide Naga Zone of Peace, Freedom and Neutrality noong 1988, ito yung very first na peace zone. So, although hindi siya yung actual battleground is madami nang nangyari din dito and nag-cause siya ng uneasiness sa urban populace. So, most of the first wave peace zone is dahil to sa pag-away ng or conflict between the government and the communist na mga party tulad ng CPP, NPA, and including nito is yung mga provinces, Mount Province, Kalinga, Abra, and other places. So, some of these were declared nung time ng Ramos administration as a special development areas. At saka nabigyan sila ng mga funds. So, here are the list of yung mga first wave tulad ng mga na-mention ko sa Naga Zone of Peace, sa Sagada, sa Tabuk, sa Canto Manyog, Cadiz City, Tinok Peace Zone, Tamlang Valley, and others. So, sa second wave of community peace zone naman, so, ang mga examples nito is yung picket spaces for peace, sanctuaries of peace, Sindaw, Kukalilintad. So, as you may notice, karamihan dito na mga example is from Mindanao. Meron din outside Mindanao. So, mostly kasi ito, mostly ang reason for the second wave is mga Moro insurgencies. So, isa pa na mga na-declare na peace zone, especially nung yung na-mention ko na nangyari sa student is naging peace zone ang mga karamihan na school. Example nito is itong mga school sa Metro Manila tulad ng Miriam College, Jose Abad Santos, Polytechnic University, Assumption College, and San Lorenzo, and others. So, political negotiation and opposing group. So, what is political negotiation? So, ito yung mga talks na aimed in at conflict resolution. So, yun, contending parties voluntarily find a satisfactory way of mediating between their conflict of interest. So, yun siya, yung mga peace talks, yung mag-uusap yung leader ng rebel group and yung side ng government, kung ano man yung decision that would satisfy both. So, these are the opposing armed groups since 1986. So, the government has engaged with the following armed opposition groups sa political negotiations. These include the NDFP, the CPP, the NPA, CPLA, NPA Rebel Priest Conrado Balweg, MNLF, MILF, yung RAM, and others. So, yung mga outcome ng negotiation is, ang importante na mechanism na ginawa nila is yung National Unification Commission or NUC, which is may nationwide sila na consultation. So, this resulted in an official government document na set sila kung ano yung framework of peace policy, which is signed by Fidel Ramos ng September 15, 1993. So, what are these? Ito yung mga example nito is yung pursuit of social, economic, and political reforms, consensus building and constituency formation, programs for reconciliation, reintegration, and rehabilitation, addressing concerns on human rights and international humanitarian law, establishment of mechanisms for negotiations, nurturing a culture of peace. So, ang mga naging examples ng mga naging result ng political negotiation is yung efforts for peace settlement ng Aquino administration is nagkagulo since nag-withdraw din yung NDFP from the formal peace talks. And isa pa na naging result ng political negotiation is yung GRP-MILF naman is napirmahan yung about sa ancestral domain. So, yung naging concluded na mga agreements between the government of the Republic of the Philippines at saka yung mga rebel group is, example nito is yung sa GRP, CPLA, CBAD, MNS. So, yung agreement dito, ang mga agreement nito is ceasefire between the CPLA and the AFP, cancellation of Chico River Dam and Salofil Resources Project, exploration of the regional autonomy. So, yung agreement kasi is accord siya sa CIPA ceasefire. So, in-address dito yung mga indigenous Cordilleran struggle para sa self-determination. So, yung naging mga key developments dito is yung process is nahinder siya ng mga legal suits and referendum, madaming nangyari. So, nung 1990 to 1998, only the province of Ifugao and Kalinga, respectively, voted for autonomy. So, na-prevent na naman yung formation ng Unified Autonomous Region. So, next is yung sa GRP Altas. So, yung 1995 settlement with the military rebels, mostly mga police at saka soldiers who have defected from the post-EDSA war, is ito din yung mga naging agreement nila. Kasama dito is amnesty for the crimes committed, retrieval of mga weapons, and yung unconditional return of the remains of Ferdinand Marcos. Kasama din dito is mga agrarian reforms, mga GSIS, mga SSS na mga membership. So, ang naging key development dito is yung group is naging moribund or also known as inactive kasi yung mga iba is bumalik sa government. However, nung time ni Arroyo is may naging mga alleged coup attempts. So, naging mahirap yung total reintegration sa kanila. So, next is the GRP RAM. So, yung agreement nito is noong 1995, yung general agreement with the most prominent army, military rebel factions. So, ang naipakita dito is cessation of hostility, national reforms, disposition of weapons, and ang naging key development dito is yung leader nila na si Gregorio Honasan is na transition siya from a fugitive to a senator. However, noong 2003, nangyari yung Oakwood Mutiny by younger officers, which served as a reminder that institutional military reforms is nagkakagulo pa rin. So, next is the GRP-MNLF. This is the final agreement on the implementation of the 1976 Tripoli Agreement. So, yung implementation phase is dalawa. The 3-year transition phase or the phase 1 and the new regional autonomous government or phase 2, which is dito na na-form yung ARM. So, yung nangyari is ang mga key development dito is yung integration of the MNLF fighters sa AFP, yung iba naman is sa PNP. However, nung 2001, yung Miswari revolt sa Zamboanga is hindi masyado na parang na-postpone na naman yung nangyari. Okay, so next is yung GRP, RPMP, RPA, ABBR, the communist rejectionist. So, ang agreement dito, so next is the GRP-MILF agreement on the general cessation of hostilities. So, ito yung first part. The GRP-MILF forces have agreed to cease hostilities. Second is their respective subcommittees on cessation of hostilities are directed to meet on July 30 and then i-resume nila yung peace talk sa time na yun. However, may mga armed hostilities sa Cotabato and Maguindanao na sinira yung ceasefire. May nagawa na naman na isa pa nung September 3. And then, so may nangyari na naman nung ang nangyari na naman is may mga areas doon na yung AFPs nag-launch sila ng major offensive na attacks doon sa mga MILF camp, and yung Camp Abu Bakar was captured and destroyed. So dahil dito is na-suspend ulit yung peace negotiation for the rest of yung presidency ni Estrada. So next part na naman ng GRP-MILF is yung Tripoli Peace Agreement. So, yung mga contents nito is security aspect, rehabilitation aspect, yung ancestral domain, activation of committees. So, ang nangyari dito is yung International Monitoring Team or IMT led by Malaysia is ni-monitor nila yung ceasefire. At saka, isa pa na nangyari dito is ginawa nilang initiative is yung bantay ceasefire. So, in conclusion, summary, final agreements nila is nag-lead din sa ARM, na-secure dito yung stability nung 1990s. So, ang persistent challenge pa rin nila is problematic. Kasi sometimes is may nangyayaring mga konting war pa rin, mga rebel groups pa rin na pag-aaway. And, another thing na nangyari is yung nangyari din na isa pa is yung war on terror. Yung war on terror nung 9/11 is dahil din dito nagkaroon ng issue yung mga peace negotiation. So, sa future naman is pwede pa rin mag-implement ng mga structural reform tulad ng mga agrarian reform, electoral reform, para i-continue yung mga collective work ng mga CSO, local community, to achieve this possible peace. So, this shows gaano ka-importante yung mga negotiation, peace talks, and especially yung community sa pag-maintain at saka pag-form ng mga peace within sa community nila and overall sa buong Philippines. And that is all. Thank you.